My name is Sam Kean. I am a science writer, and my latest book is Dinner with King Tut: How Rogue Archaeologists Are Recreating the Sights, Sounds, Smells, and Tastes of Lost Civilizations.
A day in the life during the Roman Empire.
You live outside the city in a villa. You're going to walk in along a Roman road. You're going to get into the city, and you're going to get your hair done. You have a big ball that night, and you want to impress some people. And after sitting there for a few hours of getting your hair done, you get a little hungry. So you go around the corner, you're dodging all of the filth in the street, and you walk up to a little sidewalk stall, and you order yourself a meal. One of the main ingredients in that road, and in some ways one of the secrets of Roman architecture, is the amazing concrete that they made. Concrete isn't a really sexy material, but the way the Romans made concrete has allowed a lot of their buildings, bridges, and roads to stand even to this day. And archaeologists, when they would look at Roman concrete, they always thought they had made a bit of a mistake when making it, in that one of the big ingredients in concrete is a substance called quicklime. You mix it with water, and it helps form a glue to bind the concrete together. And when archaeologists looked at Roman concrete, they would find big, undigested lumps of quicklime in there. And they thought this was a mistake. You can imagine a loaf of bread in modern times. If you bit in and found a chunk of raw flour in there, you would think, okay, the baker didn't mix the flour as well as they should have. Archaeologists had the same sort of thought with the Roman concrete. They thought they'd made a mistake. But it turns out that that was not a mistake and actually was a key feature of Roman concrete. Modern concrete is quite good, quite strong, but it's prone to cracking. And once a crack starts, cracks widen very quickly. But with Roman concrete, a few archaeologists at MIT recreated some of it, and they found something very interesting with this concrete. With normal concrete, when water gets in there, it freezes, it expands it, it can crack it apart. With Roman concrete, when water got in there, it would find these undigested chunks of quicklime and react with them and actually create a substance that filled the space. So it was essentially self-healing concrete. And because of that feature of their concrete, it strengthened it over time and actually allowed it to stand much longer than modern concrete does. One of my favorite people to talk to for the book was Janet Stevens of Baltimore. Stevens is a hairdresser, has no formal training in archaeology. She was at a museum and something intrigued her. She saw several busts of Roman matrons there, and she, as a hairdresser, noticed their amazing hair. And she was especially interested in the backs of their hair because, as a hairdresser, that's the part she's usually looking at. And she saw that these busts had these amazing hairstyles, these mountains of curls, these spirals around their hair. And she thought, wow, I want to go and try to recreate these hairstyles. So she went home. She had a few modeling dummies with hair on them that she uses to practice. Despite being an expert professional stylist, she could not recreate these hairstyles, even with all the modern tools at her disposal. And she got curious, and she thought, well, how did they actually make this hair then? So she went to the archaeological literature and the classics literature, started looking up papers about Roman beauty, Roman hairstyling, and she quickly realized that the people who wrote these articles had no idea what they were talking about. Just the way they would describe hair, the physics of hair, how to move it, how to pile it up, how to sculpt it, they didn't know what they were talking about. And so she decided, well, if someone's going to solve this mystery, it's going to be me. One obstacle to her solving this mystery was that she did not read Latin at all. In fact, she had failed Latin when she took it in school. But she was motivated this time. So she started tediously typing pages of Latin text into Google Translate line by line to try to figure out if she could find some clue as to how they made this hair. And a few years finally into this project, she was typing yet another line into Google Translate, and the penny dropped. She read a line about the needle that the tailor and the hairdresser used. And she realized, aha, they weren't sculpting this hair and pinning it up with bobby pins or bodkins or something like that. They were actually sewing people's hair into place using a needle and thread. After that, she went home, tried it out with a needle and thread, and was suddenly able to recreate any one of the hairstyles she wanted. And this hairdresser from Baltimore, who had no experience in archaeology, was able to actually publish a paper that revolutionized the field, and she's now one of the world's leading experts on Roman beauty and Roman hairstyling. Roman food has always had a very bad reputation, mostly because of one ingredient that the Romans used in almost every dish that they made, a sauce called garum. For a long time, garum was translated as rotten fish sauce, as if they had taken a fish, let it decompose, and then squeezed the putrid juices out and just dumped that all over their food. And as you can imagine, people thought that must have been disgusting. That sounds terrible. Why would you eat this food drenched in putrid fish sauce? And that sentiment prevailed until modern times, when a few people who actually were cooks or chefs read about the process of making it, and they said, wait a second, this isn't rotten fish sauce, it's just fermentation. That's all they were doing. They were fermenting it under controlled circumstances, actually breaking the muscle of the fish down and producing a sauce that way. An equivalent in modern times is Thai fish sauce. People use that all the time in cooking, maybe even sprinkle a little bit on your food. It's a very common ingredient. And once people realized this, they realized it was actually a very versatile dish that you could use in a lot of meals. It has a nice umami flavor to it, so that savoriness that you get with protein. Has a lot of salt in it too, so you can add a dash to kind of brighten a dish up. And the Romans loved it so much, this garum fish sauce, that they actually used it in desserts as well. Pretty much any dish that you can imagine, they would dump the fish sauce on it. And I don't know if all of us would want it in our desserts nowadays, but I have eaten some meals with this garum fish sauce, and I can tell you it adds quite a nice kick to a lot of foods.
Want to support the channel? Join the Big Think members community where you get access to videos early, ad-free.